All right, you're done now, right?
Yeah. You can start.
Oh,
You want to
okay.
do the lead in. You got it. Yeah.
What's up? Fresh is our turn, baby.
Song has meaning, though.
Sweat equity.
This is the song that my wife and I walked out to at our wedding.
Are you serious?
I think so. Maybe it was Crazy Train. Fuck.
Dude, that's what I went out to. The Crazy Train with Trick Daddy.
But no, it wasn't that one for sure.
We'll play that at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Ozzy's.
The remix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to do with the other song on. But
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good. I like that you stopped listening to any new rap after like 2001.
Why do I need more rap?
I don't know. I don't like Post Malone. I don't like the singing rap. I don't like the
I know. Everything
guys who
whiny
can
rap.
sing.
Yeah.
And I don't like mumble rap.
It's like, yeah.
Kendrick Lamar, you're good, but Pusha T, I like.
Well, I played it because our guest today, Kevin Lacassin of Good Food Catering, catered my wedding. And I think it was like one of your first gigs, right?
A long time ago.
How
yeah,
long?
it was
9 years ago?
9 years ago.
2009.
Yeah.
Started my company in 2008,
Yeah.
and got really rolling in 2009.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you started.
I
You started.
booked
08.
Oh wait,
Tough times.
yeah, it turned out to be a great time to start a business. A lot of older businesses were kind of, riding high, making it easy. The phone was ringing off the hook. Economy crashes, and there was a great opportunity.
That's a good tease. Cork that for a second because I gotta really get the show going. Toddy,
Hold it until I
God
crack that.
Almighty. Sweat Equity Podcast. Listen to us on iTunes. Share this with a friend. Do it. Share it with a friend. Do it. Share it with a family member. Hey, I'm listening to this Hustle podcast. It's getting me going. I'm doing a direct-to-camera. Trying to get these pretty green emerald eyes right in there.
There you
yeah,
go.
Give
I
me
got
a close-up.
you.
All
I got you
right.
a close one.
Give
All
us a
right, well,
5-star review. What? Ooh, huh?
Stop creeping everyone out with it, though.
Well, the pussy-looking symbol, I shouldn't have done that. But just do us a
Hard out.
favor. Give us a 5-star review. Write a review in there. If you write text and not give the 5-star, it's not as good for some reason. This is the cheat code to get up the iTunes rankings. Subscribe, rate, 5-star review.
Soundboard's back.
Oh, man. And I think it popped out
Yeah, I know.
a
I
bit.
gotta chill.
You gotta chill out on that soundboard. Blah.
I was waiting for that.
Do you still have the 10-second ones that are
No.
excruciating?
No.
The last podcast we had like a Hiroshima bomb. Like
I still got that one.
Yeah, but it's like we have to pause every time there's a sound.
Yeah, they dropped it from outer space, that bomb. But
So
still there.
Before we started, Kev, I'm going to call you Kev. I don't know if that's cool or not. We just
Me
met.
too. I'm
Sure.
going to do it too. It's just easier.
You started in 08. I think that's always an interesting point when a lot of people start a business when it's almost the shittiest time in America economy, and you could make a case ever. The bailout had some, doesn't help. It's like we just kind of got through it somehow as a country.
Sure.
But we still don't know what it was, and no one got arrested, and we bailed a bunch of big companies out.
Yeah. So the lesson is just cheat and
Be
get
so
just-
big.
you have to make enough
Too
money
big to
when you're
fail.
cheating to get away with it.
Yeah, no one
Gotta
went to
meet that
jail.
threshold.
Just remember that, guys.
So,
And we're probably going to have another one, I feel like.
oh, good.
Look at the economy right now. It's so good right now. Unemployment's like the lowest it's ever been. Real estate is crazy right now, and Tampa's a good index for the country as far as almost everything. So I look at the real estate here and how it was in 08. I just kind of nerded out one night because I was curious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I feel like that's happening, but I don't have much more than that.
Yeah, I don't like it when people talk about the economy like it affects them at all. Like
Oh,
they're
what?
usually referring to the stock market. You see what the stock market's doing? Oh yeah, how many stocks do you own? Well, I don't own any stocks, but
Oh,
the
man.
economy though.
Man, people got fired like crazy though because it affected all these like On a small, medium level, for sure, because retirement funds get milked.
I guess my problem with it is
Your value of your house is nothing. Like,
is the economy is what people when they say that they're just passing on words that they've heard from somebody else. They don't really.
Yeah.
Usually, if the economy's bad, it may or may not affect you, but usually none of that shit affects you. It's only the rich white people.
Someone way smarter than I was telling me that we're right back in the subprime mortgage thing again, and it's just called something else, and we're too dumb to realize it. So
Really?
yeah.
With mortgages or with something else?
Yeah. And there's subprime mortgage on cars now.
Dude, I'm about to buy a building in like 3 months.
I thought you bought it.
Not yet.
Well, I mean, look, well, that's a long-term investment anyway. So it's like,
Oh, now you're backtracking.
well, no, like the economy does bounce back. It's cyclical, but I'm saying like,
This is a good example, though. The economy really will not affect me buying this building. It's going to be the prices are determined. We know what we're putting down, what our interest rate's going to be, and all that stuff. But
it affects those on the fringe, though. If your job isn't necessary, you're that's what the '08 crisis did. It basically cut all the people and go like, I heard Louis C.K. masturbation aside.
he's back now.
Yeah, there's a huge backlash with that.
People
But
ain't like that.
I would say like he had a good kind of way of looking at it. It's like maybe it was good. Maybe it got our shit together. Maybe it was that thing of
sometimes.
like, yeah, we cut a lot of fat that we didn't need in a lot of places.
I do feel like since then the wedding economy took off because I've got a good buddy that I started a video production company with doing weddings. I mean, he's still cranking them out. Is that a good time you think that things really took off, that it became such an event sort of thing?
It's gotta be social media.
I think it's a combination of a few things. The funny thing is there was a lot of event and wedding companies that started in this Tampa Bay market in 2008. I don't know why that is. I can't put my finger on it, but there was kind of a new wave. We looked at the way things used to be done. A lot of new people moved into Tampa Bay, which created this bubble, the housing bubble, the mortgages, and there was a lot of fresh blood. So with fresh blood comes new ideas, and those new ideas come new businesses. So it's been great for people like me. It's been great for people like your buddy who had a new idea, who had fresh perspective, and it really has blown up.
Well, I think his inertia. He's hungry, right? That's also there too.
Yeah, it just doesn't fall in your lap.
Yeah.
But people that were younger that started these businesses, we came in with the attitude that we had to work for everything. We had to start from scratch. We couldn't just walk up and the phone's going to be ringing.
Well, you're a white male though, so everything was probably handed to you.
You want a loan? Here you go.
Yeah, that's
No
how it
problem.
is.
Yeah.
You don't have to do all that work.
If you guys are watching this podcast, you know that's clearly not a thing.
There's a
'Cause
certification.
If you've seen Eric and I over the past episodes, we're not exactly the Monopoly man.
No.
Wearing a monocle and shit, top hat. Yeah, shit comes our way because you're a white male. It's like, no, business doesn't care about that really as much as you think it does, or like the papers do at least. Anyway, that's for another day. I want to hear about how'd you get to take us to '08 and then from '08 on. So what's your background to get to the point where you're like, I'm going to start my own thing?
Well, to back up one step further, I lived in New Orleans up until 2005, this very day, 2005.
Wow.
At that point, I always loved throwing parties. I loved entertaining.
In New Orleans?
Yeah. We have parties. we sometimes drink.
Yeah.
I like throwing parties. I was managing a bar and beverage operations of a hotel. I wanted to start a catering company. I actually looked at buying a couple different companies. They both fell through. Things were in the works. So hurricane hits, fast forward, I moved to Tampa Bay, spent a couple years here. And at that point I was about to get married, and we were looking around for caterers. And I realized really quickly that there wasn't anybody that fit what I wanted. Nobody modern. Everything was just kind of boring.
Grammy style.
It was old school. So I said, "Well, shoot, this is what I'm going to do."
Yeah.
I had the plans already, so let's do it.
Yeah, and so your background. So I got a couple questions, and one of those tips is kind of just we talked about it off air before we started, but I say you start a business, you start a side business, you have to fulfill a need. You have to fulfill some kind of need. That's number one on the docket. If you write a business plan or an outline, what is the need? What is the demand that is there, right? And you saw it as like, hey, no one's doing this in a contemporary way. There's probably old Southern style stuff going on here, catering style, or just crusty Florida style of catering. We're just like, yeah, we'll pull up. And so you saw, hey, I could differentiate against these people, do this the way I know New Orleans does it. You're bringing that influence probably over that you learned as, working your way up the rung, right?
Sure. That's precisely it. In the early stages, when I was still working a full-time corporate job here, I went to some entrepreneur classes at USF Continuing Education, and they're asking everybody in the room, what kind of business are you starting? And I said, catering company. And the instructor said, oh yeah, there's a lot of catering companies out there. So secretly, that's another chip on your shoulder, and you're thinking, all right, well, there's not a lot of catering companies like what I'm going to do.
I love that.
And that's
we talk about there's a weird delusion, like you can't have delusions of grandeur, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking change the game. I'm gonna disrupt the catering game. Because I'll get there for sure. Like I toe that line.
You can't go the other way. You can't listen to those people, the other people.
But you also can't get bummed out. But like,
no,
because a lot of people do. They go, oh shit, okay, I should find something else. Like there's a lot of people that do that, and just you get your dick knocked in the dirt, and you're just like, well, man, maybe the competition is saturated, and you don't trust your own judgment. But by that point, you probably already had a good anecdotal level of competition.
I had a good idea of what was out there, and that's the first part in starting a business. You have to have a realistic expectation of what kind of business you're going to start. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's tons of companies out there, but they're all the same. They all had the same menu. They all had very similar pricing, and there were very few that were taking it up a step. And nobody was cooking food on site like a restaurant. They're just cooking it in a commissary. They're putting it in hot boxes. They bring it out, and you got a roast beef carving station and chicken piccata. And that's on everybody's menu.
Yeah. I love that you heard that your professor gave you a hard time, and you're like, you know what, fuck you, buddy. I'm going to shove it up
like
your ass.
that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Take spite, commoditize it, use it as energy, man.
We both run on spite pretty well.
Yeah.
That's the only way
we talk about people talk shit to us. It's like, all right. And clients we've had that have been bad or someone treats us shitty, we go, all right, we're going to kill them with kindness, and we're going to make them we're going to Jewish guilt the shit out of them. We're going to be so nice to them. And that's worked way better than going, hey, buddy, fuck you.
Yeah.
Going like, hey, look how well we've done since since you broke off from us kind of thing.
Well, to be I think, successful business owner, you've got to have some sadistic trait, and you've got to have a chip on your shoulder. Otherwise, you're just cruising along in life. You've got to have something to prove.
Right,
or
right.
I do.
I did it. I was overdoing it. I'd walk in a room and like over explain stuff because I look like Nicolas Cage in Con Air. So it's like, so when I'm walking in a room, I know it's not. They don't think of me as a tech kind of guy, or that I know that world. Or a lot of people knew me as a comedian first, if they're like friends of friends and stuff. And so it's like, but I came in too hot a lot of the time. Damien, our video partner across the hall, is like, hey, you just chill a little bit.
We believe you,
but
dude.
they don't know about the infrastructure of JavaScript. And it's like, they don't care.
Here,
they
just
want
shut
it
up and
done.
sit down. Let me write on the whiteboard real quick.
Wait until they ask you about that stuff, and then you can bust that out whenever. And I was like, yeah, but they're looking at me funny, like. So I totally get that. Eric, tell me. I guess you tell me your experience finding them and.
Well, I don't. My wife did all the work.
My wife.
This was very, but I think anytime my wife purchases anything, it's going to be because it was cheap. So at the time, Kevin was still coming up, and I'm sure gave us a good deal. But I mean, I can't imagine the food being topped. It's the one thing I do remember: fried macaroni and cheese on a stick.
Ooh.
Ain't nobody serving that. I didn't get any of that cake though.
And that's did you try to figure out the food that's almost ubiquitous? Like no one's like, man, fuck that macaroni and cheese fried on a stick, and the novelty of it's
crowd
kind of
pleasers.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean that was another big thing. All the catering companies have the same appetizers. I just came up with things that I like to eat, and I love. No, I'm not a world traveler by any means, but I like to go to different places. I like to go to Charleston. I'm from New Orleans, so you take a lot of those influences and food that you've eaten, food that you've tried, and make really cool food, as opposed to what's the normal shrimp cocktail and spanakopita is probably what everybody's eating.
How hard is the scalability of that? Because I know some places have on-site kitchens that you can go and cook everything, but we did the Ybor State Museum, and I don't think they had a kitchen, or if they did, it was not going to be anything you could use. How much of your planning is going in to be like, okay, I got to be able to move this or make it there or whatever, in terms of making the cut and all that?
For those outside
for
the
the menu,
Ybor is like the Bourbon Street-ish area, the old area of town. Here, the historic-ish area, and so sometimes that can be harder logistically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you mentioned two things. First of all, when it comes to planning and when we do an event, when we're doing food, catering, I would say 80% of that is the logistics of, okay, what can we put on the menu? How are we going to cook it? How are we going to finish it? Can we transport it? Can it go hot? There's a lot of food that we can transport hot because it works great, and our kitchen's 10 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
If we're at a remote location, say we're at a house in a field with a tent, we'll bring a complete field kitchen and we can set up right there. Propane fired ovens, field kitchen. We can duplicate a restaurant kitchen in a field as long as we have a couple electric outlets or a generator. When it comes to scalability, and I don't know if this is what you were referring to, but that is the one big challenge that I wish I knew 10 years ago, was that the model I have is not ultra scalable, because there's only so many great chefs in town. And how many of them can I hire? And how many people want to pay a premium for top-notch quality food that's cooked on site?
Yeah, well, that's just like a thing with my buddy doing the video production. His eye and his camera work is the talent there, and it's like,
how do you teach?
You can hire camera guys who know what they're doing and stuff, but that's his art,
And he can't
cooking is your art.
He can't be at multiple places at once.
Right, and he can't do, you can't always be holding two cameras or something, So it's, I'm just trying, now my mind's, it goes to like, how would you scale, with somebody that you can trust that's a great chef, but then you're limited to two chefs.
It's doable. It's not impossible. It's hard. Don't get me wrong. Like, we struggle with it as well. So I try to keep a playbook, notebook, and Evernote. This is how I need to teach this. I try to take a second when I'm going through something and go, this might be the best way to teach this kind of branding thing, or this kind of development side or design or whatever it is. That, and I have a bad memory, so everything's kind of like memento anyway, where it's like, oh, yeah, that's how I did that? Okay, cool. I did that a month ago. But, like, keeping a playbook, and how do you duplicate yourself? It's a common problem with a lot of companies, and I don't know where y'all are now. I didn't know if you were leading to that or anything.
Well, I was just curious, for employee, do you have a nice core set of people that you go to, or you have people coming in and out all the time, day workers or whatever sort of thing?
Burn and churn employees.
Because you want to talk about time wasting. Just teaching somebody who's only going to be there for a day, and it's just like, okay, what's the point?
Well, from an infrastructure standpoint, my operations, I've got a solid operations team and a solid culinary team. Now, the culinary team, rock stars. These guys are great. I've got two solid, my primary solid chefs who run the kitchen on a day-to-day basis. They've got their staff, obviously, but my head chef and his sous chef are ridiculously great. They both come from a restaurant background, both worked at some top-notch places here in Tampa, and I'm fortunate to have them. But we're, like I said, the quality of food that we do is high. The price is high. So we currently do around 50 weddings a year. We do about another 100 to 110 corporate, social, gala-type events.
Nice.
Yeah.
But in order for us to bring on another really skilled chef, I've got to ramp up that production. Once that business is there, we'll bring on more.
What's your bandwidth, basically? What's the threshold? We're bringing in another 80 grand in revenue, we can maybe hire someone and feel comfortable that we're going to make the next whatever amount
Absolutely.
to justify it.
And the same thing for sales and operations. I have 2 primary quote unquote event specialists who do the sales and the management of the events they sell.
Wow.
So, and I've got a director of operations as
Are
well.
they crazy?
Yeah.
Because
Super organized.
I think, yeah, well, ironically, my wedding planner was not organized.
Yours was dog shit, yes. I can remember.
Yeah.
Anytime
She
a
was
guest
like-
of the wedding knows about how bad the wedding planner is, it's bad.
She had cool stuff, is why we hired her, I think. And so I hope she doesn't listen to this. but
You just lost
I
a
gave you
listener.
5-star. I still give a 5-star review because I still show love online. But
See, you know, I'm not gonna let it go.
But I was saying, like, when your guests are barfing in the bathroom and then they come up to you, she was coming up to me and was like, "What do I do?" And I was like, "I don't want to hear about this at all. Like, I shouldn't have known about this. Take care of it." Like, I'm not some kind of snowflake. I don't want to. I'll go in there and clean it up, but I'd rather not. You know, like,
Yeah, that was bad.
well, someone ODing on cocaine and then another person getting a DUI. This is a good party. So
OD. No, I hear
Jay-
OD.
Jay-
Somebody died. Nobody died.
he overdosed. He drove him on. He took too much cocaine. But he technically overdosed.
Took it in a pill form.
Snorted a lot of it, and then he said he got to his house. He said it on this podcast, so I'm not.
Who?
Jacobs,
Oh.
John Jacobs, rapper. And
All right.
comedian.
Well, that doesn't count.
Well, he said he got in his bed. I just think this is a funny story. He got in his bed and he was sitting there and he said he just like, my heart is pounding too hard. I have to go. And said
He has
drove
to
the-
go.
He drove to the hospital and I was like, well, think about it this way. The only drug to OD on that you'd be a better driver
You could
than
drive to the
ambulance
hospital.
is cocaine. So yeah, you probably got there faster than anybody.
He makes good choices.
Yeah, the guy's gonna make it to 40.
Do you have any really good, juicy?
And yeah, any good wedding
Stories?
festival stories?
I wish I had one that good.
Yeah.
I don't have anything that good.
Yeah, we had a friend grabbing dicks in the bathroom, and then she got a DUI.
We're usually in the back. I stay here.
Yeah, you got, but y'all have y'all do have that crazy. I was joking with Eric. I'll watch Party Down and to prepare for this interview. You ever seen
It's
that
a
show?
You know, I haven't.
Or
I've
the
heard
movie
of it.
Waiting is a good.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's a good representation of restaurants and just how crazy, like chefs are crazy, like cooks are crazy. You kind of have to be around heat
Absolutely.
like that and just deal with crazy stress of like doing all that stuff.
Yeah, you're
repetitively.
redlining for hours. I'm in the weeds.
Yeah, and to find that's got to be hard. Like that's got to be like the bishop piece on your chessboard of people.
Yeah, the culinary is challenging. That's probably the most challenging to find in this business environment, just because of the nature of what they do generally.
Plus, you have your own sort of style,
And there's
taste sort of thing,
and the
it's
egos
like-
involved.
Right.
Yeah, they got to put
Because,
their stank on it.
You know, as a somewhat small business owner, I have to be able to do everyone's job. So
Yeah.
if my whole kitchen crew walked out tomorrow, I could piece together a kitchen crew. I could go back in. I could run the kitchen. It's just the nature of the beast. I know how to wash the dishes. I know how to run the events. I can load trucks.
So that's a good lesson. Just to
Yeah.
kind of put a pause to tell everybody. It's kind of talk to the audience. It's like make sure if you're running a business, you're gonna have to know how to do everything really well. And even if you don't know it the best, you can manage someone to do it. Like you know what to tell them to
Yeah.
do and how long it takes.
I mean, Eric can probably fill teeth.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in a whole different issue. It's like I'm legally not allowed to do all the jobs, but
But yeah, there's a lot of people that want to start businesses, and they it's very glamorous on Instagram to own your own business and be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But can you really do the hard work? Can you do the craft and the hard work as well as run the business?
I don't think it's glamorous at all.
No,
honestly.
yeah.
Like my wife thinks it's fun. It looks fun. Like our office looks fun.
yeah, it looks fun.
Right. Everything appears fun. It's like stand up. I tell her it's like because she does stand up as well. I was like, yeah, stand up looks fun, but it's actually a lot of hard, arduous, like tedious mulling over how the words phrased and paused and like people don't know that shit. They think it's slap dick around on stage because everybody's got a sense of humor, so they think they know how it works.
Or the open mics that you're just trying new shit out and it don't work.
And you get
that's hard.
I got up like 5 times a week, at least for like 5 years, doing mics every night I could. And it's like, yeah, you don't know that part. Most people don't. And
that's why I never pursued it. I was like, I'm too lazy for this. I'm not going out there every night. This is a lot of work.
Yeah, surprisingly, it's a lazy group of people, except when it comes to like
it
the guilt
so
trip
weird.
of like, you got to get up.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Because you don't really, you have nothing to really quantify other than that. Like,
yeah,
you just got to get your reps in. But it's the same thing. It's like, people don't understand, like, there's been so many stressful days you've dealt with. Events alone are just weird because you're dealing with a new setting every time.
Sure.
And it's like, you have to be like Jason Bourne, like get in somewhere and just go, okay, I got to assess this. What's everything like? All right. Make sure what could possibly happen in this area and with this crowd maybe.
There's a lot of variables with every event. I think the secret is just learning and understanding all of those variables and what can go wrong. And once you've mastered the art of making sure shit doesn't go wrong, then you get pretty good at what you do. It's really about anticipating what's next.
Yeah, you get ahead of it.
So things 2 steps ahead is a good tip.
Yeah.
And crisis control. When shit goes down, don't freak out.
Yeah, just manage it and make it happen.
You're dealing with people on, if it's their wedding day for a woman, it's probably the most stressful day of their life, just for what it is. And lots of times.
The candor people have when shit goes down and it's their fault, they handle it so poorly. Kind of like the ego check you're talking about with the kitchen. It's like the kitchen staff, I should say. Like, they won't say sorry. They won't. I turn into like a PR agent if I have to. Like a publicist. Like, hey, look, I'm sorry about this. We're gonna work on this. You try to put it like almost act like you're that person.
Yeah, you can't be like, I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm freaking out too.
I just go, what would a professional like publicist do? And like spin it and like, okay, we're working on this. Here's this, and this, and we're gonna figure this out. And we got it. Don't worry about it. Go have fun. And most people can't do that. They can't figure out how to like curve that into like. They go, hey, well, you're fucking, hey, you're the band guy. The roadie in the band took our plugs, took the electricity, and it fucked up everything. And it's like,
that's another thing. There's so many people around at these events. You can easily pass the buck.
Yeah.
If you one-on-one with somebody, like,
right?
That guy did it.
Everybody
later.
So, I guess 9 years, right? What was 10 years? Right?
10 years, yeah.
That's great, man. That's huge. And where do we find that stat? 5 years, it's like 70% of small businesses are
done. Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's crazy to see.
I was still ready to give up in year 7 or 8.
Yeah,
sure.
It takes a lot of time, and you've got your ups and you've got your downs. From a financial standpoint too, it takes years to get to a point where you look at what you're doing and the amount of work, and wondering, is this worth it? Like, what am I doing? Like, I could go get a job, and then I don't have the responsibility, I don't have the worry, the sleepless nights. But then you wake up the next day and you're like,
look in the mirror.
You got to go to work for someone else.
Yeah. It's satisfying.
Yeah.
It's stressful. It's It's a good stress. It's something to work on over time, kind of thing. Like dealing with like those thresholds. Okay, we've got enough, because you guys probably have a pipeline like we do, where there's going to be X amount of people interested in y'all, and then they're choosing between 3.
Yep.
It's usually 3 for us too, if we have any competition. And then it's like, okay, so if we know we have X amount of intro calls that are people want to do business with us, now we have enough sample size data to go like, okay, if we've always got 25 people that tell us they want to work with us, we know we're going to be fine. Like, we've started figuring out these numbers to make it like, you unpucker your asshole. You don't have to like be so tense all the time about bringing business in, because that becomes the Leviathan, the monster that never stops growing, where you're just like, just keep feeding that monster, and because you have to grow and you have to do that, and it's crazy, man.
I think that's probably a common misconception on the outside looking in at any business. They think, oh, these guys do digital marketing, they set up their shop, it looks cool.
Yeah.
People just call them and they want to do business with them, and then they do their thing. Same thing with catering. I would be willing to bet most of the some of our staff, maybe the server staff, the chefs, they think we sit at the office and we get phone calls and people book us.
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
But that it would make too much competition. We work really hard. That sales cycle, the funnel, the leads, that's something that I learned early on in my career, that every successful business is a sales driven business.
That's great. That's why you're still around. I mean,
you're a service business.
And there's a lot. Yeah, we do. We provide a service. We're a service organization. We're a sales organization. Tons of great chefs out there. Tons of great food. But when can you really run a business? Can you make it successful?
And I made a note after this. I got to get you with our anchor client that we started this business with, Waterloo Washrooms, because they do a lot of events probably similar to y'all, and y'all could probably refer back and forth a bunch.
Sure.
They're like luxury restrooms, those trailers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was our first. That was my buddy Jamie. He's been on the podcast a long time ago, but that's how we started, and they've been our client ever since. So 3 years later, and they're doing so well. They bought a porta potty company. So,
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's a good story to tell because it's been fun along the way.
how far reaching is your business in terms of what you're doing with like the services you're providing? So are you bringing in all the servers? Are you bringing in all of the dust ruffles for the tables? How much have you expanded in terms of
Are you in the chair
trying to
game,
be
bro?
all? Yeah, do you got
Chair
chairs?
rental.
Do you
Fuck
have your
that.
chairs?
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, but I mean,
Until I own one, a chair rental company.
you got to add it piece by piece, right?
They're like, the chairs, it's like $5 a chair, but if you want a cushion to make it a real chair, it's going to be $9 a chair. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Chairs?
I should have gotten in that business. The rental business, I wish I got into the rental business. I mean, it's non-perishable. You can go set it up 4 hours in advance, and then you come pick it up when the event's done.
So not client-facing necessarily?
Yeah. I mean, you take the order. Obviously, I'm making it simpler than it is.
Sure. Just like we were just talking about, right? Like we're all three of us are like, yeah, the fucking chair rental game, that's the shit.
Yeah. Well, my point is,
But I bet it sucks. Just
maybe
like
you
anything
get
else.
in.
Oh yeah. Well, what I
Brand
kind of realized
extension, man.
Here's in the scalability. Here's the other part of the scalability is I've always, as an entrepreneur at heart, I'm always looking at, okay, what other opportunities are out there? What kind of businesses can I start? Can I put some ancillary items onto what we do? The problem is when you get too wide, then you lose that focus and you lose the specialty of what you do.
Yep.
I would love to add a bunch of those services, but in order for us to manage those services, I have to hire some really, really good people that know how to manage an inventory of rentals, know how to put linens on. I mean, that's why I have people that do a lot of the stuff. But we're really focused. We can outsource a lot of things. We can take care of linens, rentals, chairs, tables. Ideally, though, we try to subcontract that with a specialized rental company, or we work with a lot of wedding planners. So I'll push that toward them unless it's very profitable for us.
Wedding planners. That's another one. It's just like,
Talk about crazy.
how are you this unorganized?
I know a couple good ones, actually.
I know a few good ones, but it's like, is your whole job being organized?
Yeah.
Like I'd memorize everybody's name if I was running. Anyway,
Don't get me started.
Yeah, there's tons of people out there.
we'll have them on and just bitch them out on the air.
We'll give them a panel.
Make them cry.
I think with any business, if you get too unfocused on your core profitability, and I'm a numbers guy, I'm a money guy.
Yeah.
So I love financial statements. It just love it.
Should I leave for you too?
I don't like making them. That's my thing. I'll read them all day. Yeah, but procuring them is my.
As long as the bottom line number doesn't have parentheses, I'm cool.
Oh, wait till the podcast we're doing on data visualization. I got a boner for data visualization as art. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we'll have 0 listeners the whole time,
Including me.
I'll just be in a room Bob Rossing stuff. Damn.
Nailed it.
Could be a little shorter.
Oh, shut up.
So, what other? How long we been?
We're about, I don't remember how much fat I put on the end. So
You probably,
we're at 35 official, but
it's
it's
fine.
going to be, it might be a little short. We dicked
We'll
around. You took forever to send an email.
let's just we'll keep it rolling. I mean, I guess what's the best advice if you wanted to get into this game? Like, and by the way, I feel like you have this. you may have this ops issue, not issue, but how do you upload your brain to everybody else? The way you see the business, because it sounds like, and I think about this in the future too. I can't be going at this clip 3 years from now, right?
Yeah.
I'll die, basically. I won't make it. But so I need to like offload the way I see this, the way I see this as a manager, and then the way I see it as the business, right? Because there's kind of two different things. There's a human capital part to it,
Yep.
where like, hey, you're going to be running these 5 people in this station over here. Look, you got to make sure you're the even keeled one. You show up early, those kind of things, those little things a manager should do.
Yeah.
And then you got to know everybody's job back and forth. So I'm going to quiz you on that. Have you been doing that, or you've been thinking? It sounds like you've been thinking about that a lot.
Well, a lot of that is putting in good procedures, and
Right.
from the very, very beginning of someone being there, what I try to do is impart that culture of who we are and what we do at the very, very beginning.
Right.
Because from the hiring process, they have to agree with what we do, they have to like what we do, and they have to understand what we do.
Yeah, you want them to buy into
Yeah,
it.
they have to live that company culture, and we're very much I guess we're a very work hard, play hard type company. I mean, our office is in Ybor. We're not, partying down. We don't have a pool table in the break room. We don't even have a break room.
We hate those. I think
No ping pong tables.
fucking hate ping pong tables. I hate.
It's
ping
true.
pong
Well, I mean, if you're at work, do your work, and then you can leave and go play ping pong or pool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if I'm sitting around
It's
and like somebody's dicking around on the pool table, I'm like, bro, let's finish this, and then we can do whatever you want.
To me, it's like CrossFit. It's like they think that's like physical activity because they're soft skills in all those tech companies, and I'm like, no, that's not real. Ping pong's fine. Ping pong is like what you do at a barbecue in the garage when you're kind of bored. Like that's
Yeah.
that's what, or your kids are playing ping pong. That's all it's for.
Yeah, we have
Fuck ping
things
pong,
that
sorry.
we have things that
I was beaten by a ping pong battle. So
we have things in our company that I don't know if every other catering company does or every other organization does. We have sales scripts, so all of our meetings are very
Smart.
structured and scripted. That's how I grew into the sales. I was a financial advisor. They hand you 15 pages of scripts and you got to learn it. So that's how our company is. We have to learn the scripts. With the kitchen, it's about teaching those guys or girls how you do things, how things are supposed to taste, as well as have written recipes, written pictures of things.
Yeah.
So we can duplicate that.
Is that hard for
down
you
the-
as a chef to have written recipes?
Yeah. But I've shifted so much from being a chef to a business owner. It's
Yes.
the E-Myth.
Dude, that's-
it's that
You're like, I have to
mentality.
do it. I got to do it. I don't want to.
I talked to our lawyer clients about this a lot. We have a lot of small law firms, and I go, look, man, you really need to put this in context. You be the best lawyer you can be, and you've been doing that for 10 years or whatever, right, on your own. But now you need to be the businessman. Now you need to be both kind of thing. And sometimes businessman is going to be 1, lawyer is going to be 2 as you want to grow.
Yeah.
Depending on your
Yeah.
goals,
Yeah.
obviously. But yeah, that's smart. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people have hubris around it. Like, I got to be the best for me, and then the business.
I battled that.
Sure. We all do.
Anybody in an industry like this is probably going to go through that. And I was a good chef. I was a great catering chef, but I'm not a world-class chef. And if I wanted to be a world-class chef, I would have to focus on being a chef. I started a business. I own the business. Now I have to hire phenomenal chefs to work for me and with me to do that. But I'm not going to kid myself. I'm not the best chef out there, and there's tons of better ones.
It's the great irony of starting your own business. If you're successful enough, you don't get to do the thing you wanted to do
No,
in the
absolutely.
beginning anyway.
Yeah, we thought we'd be doing like a bunch more sketches at this point.
This would be great.
Because that's what
Yeah.
we really like doing for fun. And those aren't even really fun most of the time.
Oh no, the day of. Tensions
they're
are
pretty,
high.
They're pretty brutal
Yeah.
as far as like everything that's actually involved, unless you're doing like Vines or something in 5 years ago. But I'd say
Is that
like,
around anymore?
No, I don't think so.
well, they just moved over to Instagram and Snapchat. But it's that thing of like, yeah, the way you got into it, you're pretty good at one thing or a couple of things really well. This is kind of why we don't work with restaurants most of the time. Off-air
Sure.
story aside,
Yeah.
that's a friend of mine. I know he's sane, and he's taking it from the business perspective first. and he's letting the neighborhood actually create the concept around it, which is such a mature, smart move that he's not like, I gotta get this
Found
going. That's how we know it's the outro. Why don't you give us a plugs? I got your websites open if you want, but
Sure. Yeah, check us out on the web, goodfoodtampa.com. And we recently took over the event management of the Tampa Union Station, the historic Amtrak station right in downtown Tampa. So check that out as well, events@unionstation.com. You can find us on, we're Instagram, pretty good with Instagram. So.
I cut through that parking lot every day instead of taking a right.
It's a great building.
Yeah, I almost hit people.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
So yeah, goodfoodtampa.com, events@unionstation.com. And
I'm sure you're always looking for people to hire, maybe?
good ones.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Look,
It's legit.
we're a random hub for people looking for work,
Sure.
and people looking for employees. I actually want to...
Do we have a caterer in the hub? Now we do.
Not designated, no.
Sure.
There you go.
We're not using the one we had for our wedding. The public sheet cake,
Office.
everybody found out.
I came back for seconds.
Well, to be fair, everybody told us it was the drunkest wedding they've ever been to, so I'm good with that.
Yeah, it was pretty
And it
fun.
ended downstairs.
Yeah.
Everything comes full circle. Thanks for coming on, man.
I appreciate
good.
it. It was fun.
All right. Sweatequitypod.com. Anything else you want to talk about?
All that.
All right. Later.